we've gotten to the point now where they reach out to us and say, hey, I think this student would really benefit from what Buckeye provides. Can we send the family over and they come in and get a tour of the facility? Because we don't have classrooms. You walk in and
Mhm.
it's an open learning center. Our teachers are stationed around the perimeter, and they have a desk and chairs. Students are able to get up and get a snack whenever they want to. We serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner to our
Wow.
students. So we try to make it very inviting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Brighter Together podcast. My name is Janet Courtney, and my special guest today is Jill Hudgel. Jill is the Senior Director of Special Education at Buckeye Community School District, and they started in Mansfield, Ohio. So, Jill, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell our listeners a little bit about your journey in education as a senior director of special education, and then a little bit about Buckeye Community School.
Yeah. So, um, initially, started in education with my middle childhood math and language arts. Went on to get my master's in special education and joined with Pete, Mary, and Sasho. I'll reference them frequently. They are our management company. That started Buckeye. We started in the fall of 2020 in Mansfield with only about 200 students. And Buckeye we're designated as a dropout prevention and credit recovery high school. So we service students ages 14 up to the age of 22. It's a very non-traditional model, very individualized. Every student that enrolls with us has an individual learning plan that kind of outlines their goals, their desires for careers after high school. And that really is the basis of helping them succeed with earning their high school diploma. So we started in Mansfield and have since expanded to Marion, London, Fremont, Springfield, and then Tiffin and Lima are our two newest locations. So
All in Ohio, right? All
all
in
in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yep.
And actually, yesterday we enrolled our 3,000th student
Oh,
across all locations. Yeah. So we've had tremendous success for students that the traditional model, it's not a fit for them. Maybe they're working, or maybe they're a teen parent, or some students have medical conditions. So it's very individualized. So whenever they need to make arrangements to come in and meet with their teacher, they can do so.
wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So what is your success rate with, because you're dealing with really high risk, high needs kids, right?
Yes, yes, yep. The majority of our students have at least one or two risk factors. Some have more. But we have had tremendous success. About 50% of our students graduate the traditional route, so earning that end of course, which is one of our requirements here in Ohio. Um, and every student graduates with some kind of a credential. We have construction programs, automotive programs, boutique services, hospitality. So we really focus on that post secondary piece as well, making sure that even though their diploma is the same diploma that they would earn at their traditional high school, they're also graduating with something that's going to enhance what they're able to do for a career and hopefully give them a leg up. So,
Yeah. So do some of them, like if they have a job, do they get some credits for working?
yes. So students, a lot of our students work full-time, part-time, but yeah, they can earn up to three elective credits per year. We have a CBI, or career-based intervention program, that we have implemented, and a lot of our students come to us wanting to get a job, but don't know how to go about getting a job. So we have family engagement specialists. We have student support specialists, which are basically school social workers. We just frame
Mhm.
it a little bit differently. But a lot of people on staff that is part of their job to work with those students, figure out what they would be good at, what, their interests are, to help them find a job while they're in high school. So, um, one thing that I didn't touch on is we are open Monday through Thursday to students from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we
Wow.
have those extended hours so that if there is a
Mhm.
student working a full-time job, maybe first shift, they can still get that one-on-one time with their teacher that we know is so crucial for them to be successful. And then Fridays are remote work from home day where teachers can make arrangements to meet with students at a local library. Maybe they'll do like a Google Meet. Some of our students, transportation is an issue getting
Mm,
into the school building. So when we know that is a barrier, we go out to meet them so that they're still getting the same benefit of working with their teacher one on one so that they can be successful. So any of those barriers that we see, we really um, encourage our staff and have employed a lot of people to get those barriers out of the way so that when they
right.
come in, they can just focus on education.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
how did they find you?
Well, we don't advertise. Ironically, it's all word of mouth.
Mm,
The last
that is the
couple of
best form.
years, yep,
The
we
best
have
form.
really started to build some great relationships with the traditional schools, though. When they have tried everything that they can to work with students, maybe it's a behavior issue and they're up for expulsion.
Yeah.
Um, we've gotten to the point now where they reach out to us and say, "Hey, I think this student would really benefit from what Buckeye provides. Can we send the family over and they come in and get a tour of of the facility?" Because we don't have classrooms. You walk in
Mhm.
and it's an open learning center. Our teachers are stationed around the perimeter and they have a desk and chairs. Students are able to get up and get a snack whenever they want to. We serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner to our
Wow.
students. So we try to make it very inviting. We don't see a lot of behavior issues either because if a student is having a bad day, they just don't come
They
that
don't
day.
come.
They
Yeah.
communicate
Mhm.
with their teacher and say, "Hey, not gonna happen today. I'll be in tomorrow or touch base with you next week." So, it's very cool. I love being a
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you deal with like regulations and, so many school days and all of that to get a high school diploma? How does that work for you guys?
So we operate on a traditional school calendar. So for for us, students need to have a minimum of 920 hours of instruction. So our school calendar is set up, I think we're at like 1,040 or something. So we always start the Tuesday after Labor Day and get out like the first week of June. But students really appreciate the flexibility. And because we're designated as a credit flex model, that allows students who take advantage of the credit flex to have the ability to work outside of the school building itself. So they can complete their schoolwork at home and then turn in their completed exams each week. So
Gotcha.
attendance wise, because we have to follow state law that if a student accrues 72 consecutive hours of non attendance, which is basically about 14 school days, we have to withdraw them and then they go back to their home district. So our attendance, they have to the target is a minimum of 3 exams per week. That keeps them
Gotcha.
on track to graduate, but we
Okay.
also have students that enroll at, 18, 19 years old that are behind on their credits. So we can figure out a really good plan that's, hey, you've got to pass 5 exams or 6 exams per week to get you done by your goal date. So that's where that individuality really comes into play and meets the needs of students no matter what they're coming with.
So do some of them end up with getting a GED then or no?
We do not offer a GED, strictly just a tier 1 high school diploma.
Awesome. Awesome.
Mhm.
Okay. So tell me a little bit on the special education side.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
you're the senior director of special
Mhm.
education. How does that fit into what you guys are doing?
Yeah. So, I'm very, very proud we have a total of 10 school psychologists on staff.
Wow.
Um, 9 active with working with students. The other one, she's kind of an oversight position, but
Mhm.
very, very proud to have those ladies on staff. They do an excellent job. We have about 26% of our total enrollment are students that receive special ed services. And it plays very nicely with, their IEPs coming in. We follow state compliance guidelines as far as accepting, documents. We feel like whatever they're coming in with, we really try to continue providing. Sometimes there's a little bit of a difference with like a provider title or something like that, but
Mhm. Mhm.
because it's so individualized, we find that students get more specially designed instruction. Sometimes that's what is listed in their plan, and they they beam because they you can just see them grow in confidence. Another item that I forgot to touch on is students only do one course at a time.
Oh,
So
okay.
they can really focus on, our core credits as a freshman. We've got physical science, algebra 1. So we'll give them a choice. Do you want to start with math or science? Very rarely is it math, but
Yeah.
um but knowing that they might need 20 hours of one-on-one instruction to get, half of the course completed. And that's okay. We can provide that for them. If they're really good in social studies, they might not need as much one-on-one time, so we can kind of target what we're doing for our SDI minutes. Um, but it's really beneficial. It has proved to be very successful. And then our model, we are actually funded on how many credits students earn per year.
Oh,
So if they earn 4 out of 5 credits, we get 80% of our funding for that student. If they earn 5 out of 5, we get 100%. So, but we average normally every year, we'll never get 100% because we have students withdraw and re-enroll and
right, right.
things like that, but, we average upper 80s, low 90s percents every year. Our students are very, very, they produce and they do very well.
What if every student could work with a therapist who brings not just credentials, but years of experience and wisdom to the table? At Lighthouse Therapy, most of our therapists have over 16 years of real world experience. We don't just fill seats. Instead, we find therapists who've seen it all and know how to help. And every new therapist is paired with a mentor to help them guide them every step of the way. Whether through virtual, hybrid, or in person delivery, your students are getting services that's thoughtful, experienced, and genuinely human. Visit lighthouse-therapy.com/brighter together to learn more. Yeah, it's not your traditional model and it's something
Right.
that they need in order
Yeah.
to be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kinds of so is there work study? Do you do things like I mean, I know you said that they end up with a diploma, but they also end up with what does that look like? How do you determine that? And, what
Yes.
are some of the options that they might have?
Yeah, so we're continuing to explore new career tech programs
There you go.
every year. Yep. So all of our locations, we've got pretty consistently a construction program, an automotive program, and a hospitality and law and public safety. And those are scheduled classes that they come in 2 times a week, maybe from, 10 to 12, 1 to 3. There's a classroom component and then a lab component where they get to do all of the things that they're doing for that program. So our construction and automotive programs were our first programs, and those we've actually expanded to multiple sessions throughout the week because we have such a high interest with our students.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they've done everything in construction from birdhouses to desktop phone holders to I just saw they made an American flag out of wood and stained it red, white, and blue. They
Neat.
built benches for out front, picnic table. I mean, it's amazing what they do. And we've got just very dedicated instructors that love what they do. And when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work, you know? So I love talking about it so much because it's so non-traditional and our kids are just great, great kids that
Mm-hmm.
get to have a really great experience with education.
I'm curious too. You've talked about traditional male roles. Do
Mhm.
you have a major? Or is there a larger majority of male students versus female students? That's just kind of what popped in my
It's
head.
it's about 50-50.
Is it okay? Cool.
Yeah. Now we're seeing a trend of younger and younger students coming to us where actually the state of Ohio just this year dropped the age requirement for dropout prevention and credit recovery. It used to be 16 years old. They've now dropped it to 14.
Oh
So
wow.
sometimes that gets a little challenging because 14, my son's 14, sometimes he's really responsible and other times I'm like, "Ooh, we gotta work on that." But
Mm-hmm.
um, they don't have a lot of that intrinsic motivation to be disciplined and, "Okay, if I'm not going into the building today, I've gotta carve out enough time to get my schoolwork done so that my attendance is good." So that becomes a little tricky with the younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
but
Instead of playing video games all day.
right, right. But that's a great thing. They sometimes kids, the students will be like, "Oh gosh, I'm so tired today." I'm like, "Well, what were you doing?" "Well, I was up playing video games until 2 a.m." I'm
2
like, "Wow,
a.m. Yeah.
good thing you didn't have to be here until 11 today."
Right. Yeah.
Whereas with the older students, the 17, 18, 19, they're kind of getting into that very young adult real world. They might have a job, maybe some kids, where they're a little bit more focused and driven, like, okay, I've got to get this done. And sometimes our students, they get withdrawn for lack of attendance and they re-enroll and then they're withdrawn because life is happening.
Yeah.
Um, Last year, one of our graduation speakers withdrew and re-enrolled 5 times, but she did it. It finally clicked and
Mm-hmm.
she was like, I need this diploma. And thank goodness it's always okay. We can pick up right where we left off and
Yeah.
we'll just continue pushing forward. So,
Whereas they can't do that in a traditional public school,
mm-mm,
can they?
no,
No.
we serve a
Wow.
very unique, group of students, and it's not for everyone. Sometimes
No, of
students
course not.
come
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, I need more structure," and that's okay.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
okay. So we try to find
Yeah.
the most appropriate place for everyone.
But you're making it such an incredible impact. 3,000
Yeah.
kids. Wow. Wow. Congratulations. That's
Yeah, thank
fantastic.
you, thank you.
Yeah, it's just everything that we do in education is just, when you can help the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, you talked about kids having kids of their own and they're coming to your program. How do you deal with that? Like I'm thinking about nursing mothers and, little
They bring the
tiny
babies
babies
in.
and
They bring
yeah.
their kids in. We've got play areas. It is not uncommon to see staff members walking around holding the baby while mom or dad is off completing their STAR test or end of course test or biology assessment.
Mhm.
It's part of life.
Mhm.
You don't plan for things to happen and oh well now we've got this little tiny baby that I've got to be even more motivated for, and we don't want that to be a barrier to
Right.
their
Mhm.
education. So
Yeah.
we support and, do everything that we can to make sure that we're, supporting student and mom or dad.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm. My mother, I don't remember a lot of it. My sister is 7.5 years older than I am, but she went back. Now, I'm not talking about high school, but she went
yeah.
back to college.
Oh,
And
wow.
I remember she went to, I think it was a Catholic nursing school because I remember her. The only thing I remember, I was 5, maybe, her walking down the aisle of the church or wherever it was, and Dad put me on the end so he could see, so I could see because I was
Yeah.
little. I was the youngest of all of us.
Yeah.
To see Mom walk down the aisle and graduate from college with her RN. She was an RN, and my sister, being older and my sister's incredibly intelligent, was helping her with her math, helping her get
Oh,
through college
wow.
math. Just crazy things like that. But
Yeah.
it's the same kind of things you're talking about, where it's just like
Yeah.
there is such a desire to better yourself and
Yeah.
doing whatever you need to make sure that you can get that degree, because
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
knew that if she could get, because she was I think she had back problems too, because I think she had hurt her back being as a CNA,
Mhm.
as an aide,
Yeah.
and then became a nurse. My dad and my mother met in San Antonio, Michigan, or San Antonio, Texas. Listen to me, I've lived in Ohio and Michigan and Texas, but they met in San Antonio. He was in the military and she was in
Okay.
nursing school, but then they got married and started
Yep.
having kids, and she
Yep.
dropped out and life happened, and
Life
same kind of
happens.
thing, just at a
Yeah.
little bit older, because he
Yeah.
was 21 and she was 20 when they married. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's the same kind of thing. You gotta
Mhm.
get through, you push through, you make sure
Figure it out.
yeah, figure it out. That's what they
There's
did.
no
They
other
figured it out.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I don't remember it. I do remember too, my
Yeah.
dad at one point, he was working 3 jobs so that they
Wow.
could I remember he worked at a bakery in the evening, and he only did it for a short time so that they had money for Christmas. And the
Oh,
only thing I remember about that was he would get burned. He would have burns on his arms, and I remember saying, and that was the only thing that I cared about.
yeah.
Daddy, did you have any
Wow.
burns today?
Oh,
Crazy things like that. But
yeah,
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 he did that so that we would have Christmas money. Okay, I don't need to talk
yeah,
about that anymore. I'm gonna cry.
yeah.
But the things that you
Oh,
sacrifice for your kids,
yeah. Well,
and
and
that's what they're doing. Yeah.
yeah, and we know that the holidays are always a difficult
Mm,
time
yeah.
sometimes for our families, so we actually provide a kids' Christmas for
Oh,
anyone that
yeah.
has young kids or students that want to come in with their parents. We do a big pancake breakfast, and then we've partnered with, goodness, the local Goodwill, police, and fire, where they either buy toys and donate or, provide money that we go out and then shop. And we always send home 1 or 2 gifts with every child of our student and our students so that they've
All
got
right.
something to celebrate, their kids and themselves.
Mhm.
Um, but we also do home food deliveries and, just try to think of everything that could be a barrier and how can we stay ahead of
Overcome that
that?
barrier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it isn't a barrier. Take the barrier
right.
down before it becomes a
Yep,
barrier.
take it down.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Or
Jill,
or embrace it. Yeah.
yeah, or embrace it. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm sure that I would be the one holding that baby. Give me that baby. Give me that baby. Yeah, they're so cute. I want to be a grandmother so bad, and my kids aren't quite there yet. Like, come on, guys, let's go. I'm 58 years old. I'm ready. We have friends that are grandparents already, and I would never want them to do anything.
Yeah.
only want what's best for your kids, but
Right.
mom's ready. Mom's ready to
Oh,
be a
yeah.
grandma.
Yep. Yep.
So where do people go, Jill, if they want to learn a little bit more about Buckeye Community School and what you guys are doing? Because it sounds really amazing.
Yeah, so they can visit our website, which is www.buckeyecs, so for communityschool.org.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for serving these kids, because, You guys are making the world a brighter place by what you guys are doing. So keep up the
Well,
good work. I
thank
appreciate
you.
that you're
Thank you
doing
for
this for these
having me and
kids.
allowing
Yeah,
me the time to share about what we do and who we are. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
thank you.